Happy Friday, everybody. I hope you had a great week. Today is October 29th, 2021. It is the last trading day in the month of October, and what a month it has been. But this is your Friday planning video, the Monday market update video I'll be back with on Monday, and I'll wrap up the month and we'll talk about what last week was all about and, of course, what we'll look for to next week. We're about to enter the month of November, and as I want to continue to talk about things that we should be doing and thinking about as we come to the end of the year. I know we've done a checklist over the last couple of weeks, but some recent conversations and some planning meetings that I've been having during this week bring this topic that I'm about to talk about back to the forefront of our conversation. So I hope you can tell, Friday videos are a bit slower, a bit calmer than our Monday videos, and that's really since we're dealing with the longer-term financial plan. We're dealing with creating the goals, and we're striving to meet those goals. For anyone who's sent a child to summer camp in the recent years, your camp probably posts pictures of your children. Now, I don't know why this is a thing now. When I went to summer camp, my parents actually asked for proof of life in the form of a phone call or something. But today, there are hundreds of photos posted every day, and parents also often spend time over the summer sitting at their computers looking for their kids. And there's even a funny video out there about parents who sit and can't stop pressing the refresh button to see if the next pictures post and if their kids are in them. So this isn't much different than many people who have started to do with their investments. So I recall that back in 1999, the big measurement that was used as the internet was booming, the stocks and companies like AOL and Yahoo were booming too. The measure was page views. And as the internet bubble burst in 2000, one of my clients called me and said, "Did you see the news? Page views are down. I think there's a problem." Well, now, page views were down because unlike 6 months before that, when the stocks were going up every day, there was a lot of red on the screen. So who wants to spend all day refreshing and seeing what their account's doing on the way down? So, of course, page views were down. Well, we're not in that time period, and I'm not going to go into some of the thoughts that I have on the market valuation in this video. Remember, that's going to stay for Monday's video. But a recent study by Select and Dynata found that 49% of investors are checking their investments once a day or more. We're back to the refresh syndrome. So I want to talk to you about why this could be a problem. Now, this is not to say that if there's a good reason for this, that you shouldn't do it. I'm just suggesting that there may be a better way to monitor the progress of your portfolio and monitor the progress towards your goal. So we know why this is happening. Actually, there are a few reasons, but unlike the late 90s, when in order to check on this, you had to work really hard to actually find out all this information about what was going on every minute of every day. Like some people even had to carry a special pager. But in 2021, the front page, the home screen of your smartphone will tell you what the market's doing every day if you want it to. So technology has made it so easy, and like many things, maybe too easy. High frequency monitoring, as Dan Egan of Betterment calls it, can cause you to think your investments are doing worse than they really are. And more importantly, they can cause you to make knee-jerk reactions and impulsive decisions that may not allow you to meet your long-term growth goals. Myopic loss aversion is when we become more sensitive to losses than to gains. Research into this shows that an investor who checks their investments quarterly instead of daily reduces the chance of seeing losses over 2% from 25% for the daily checker to 12% for the quarterly checker. Now, this may seem obvious, but the outcomes are not as obvious. I'm not going to go on to state that you get better returns by checking less often. That would ignore the different kind of investments and investors. So what I will say, and as you know, is we don't need to check our progress to your goal daily. It takes the long term out of long-term investing. So when you drive home today, I will tell you, you'll probably not stop every 12 inches or so to see how far you are away from home. And though technology allows it, I really want to know how many of you really watch that graphic on the international flights that tells you how far you are from your destination. Watch it the entire flight. No one really does that. So as you know, we try to review your investments and your goals quarterly, some people semi-annually and some people annually, depending on your short-term goals or really your time horizon. If you're in income mode or if you're in the middle of a liquidity event, where you need to have a purchase or sale decision in the short term, then it makes sense to pay closer attention in that shorter term. In most cases, as we've discussed, we're really trying to focus on the long term. Identify your goals, plan for those goals, execute that plan, and then monitor that plan, just not every day. It may seem wrong for me to tell you all this and then to turn around and post a Monday video that gives you a day-by-day, play-by-play of what's going on in the market. Believe me, I have really thought about this. As I mention at least every few weeks, that video is not for everyone. It's for those who want to see the in-the-weeds part of the market. It is, again, not for everyone. Like so much that's come about in the past 18 months of the pandemic, the time to pay this much attention to the daily and weekly moves in your investments will probably wane when everyone's back to work and back to school. Not for me, of course, but for many of you. This is why I got into the business, right? I love the market and I love the day-to-day. But just like your drive home, you don't need to measure it every 12 inches, but you should keep an eye on the speedometer and make sure you stay in your lane. So as we go into the weekend, remember, if we have set your long-term strategy, trust the process. Trust but verify, just not every day in most cases. Let's keep in touch. As always, let's review on a regular basis that works in your plan. If something changes, if you have questions, contact me. Let's talk about it. But just remember, we're in this for the long term, so let's keep that in mind as the media tries to keep us in the moment. Have a great weekend. I hope we'll see you soon.